Hello dear students, welcome back to our new channel. Students, today we have two news articles. So first we'll talk about the retirement of the legendary MiG-21 fighter jet, a plane that has guarded India's skies for almost 60 years, and it has been part of some of the most important moments in our national's history. Okay, then we'll talk about something that affects thousands of Indian families. Basically, it's a new policy in the United States that has that they have dramatically raised the fees for H-1B visa. Okay, so let's discuss the first news. Students, imagine a fighter jet that has been in service longer than many of our grandparents have been alive. That's the MiG 21. Yes, MiG 21. So it was first introduced in 1963. The MiG 21, students, it wasn't just another aircraft. It was India's first supersonic fighter jet. Okay, India's first supersonic. Now, what is the meaning of supersonic? Supersonic means that it could fly faster than the speed of sound, which is, yes, which is 1012 1235, meaning 1235 kilometers per hour. So that's the speed of MiG 21. All right. So the first squadron of MiG 21 was based in Chandigarh and it was named First Supersonics. Okay. First Supersonics. So over the decades, India inducted more than 700 MiG 21s, and many of them built right here in India by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, HAL. ठीक है, अब इसके रोल की बात करते हैं कि कहाँ कहाँ पे इसने इंडिया के डिफेंस हिस्ट्री में इसका रोल रहा है. सबसे पहले तो देखो स्टूडेंट्स, MiG 21 हैज बीन लाइक अ लॉयल सोल्जर who never stopped fighting. So first is 1965 war. Yes, 1965 war. So this was its first test. India used MiG 21 for air defense against Pakistan. ठीक है, तो लेकिन उस टाइम पे नंबर स्मॉल था MiG 21 का, लेकिन it actually helped establish India's strength in the skies. Then came 1971. Now students, 1971, Bangladesh Liberation War. See, this was a turning point. India's MiG 21s played a decisive role in securing victory. ठीक है, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग व्हाट, स्पेशली ड्यूरिंग ऑपरेशन इन ईस्ट पाकिस्तान, जो अभी बांग्लादेश है, वहां पर 1971 की वॉर में MiG 21 ने बहुत हेल्प की थी. इट प्लेड अ डिसाइसिव रोल. ऑल राइट, तो ये 1971 में एक टर्निंग पॉइंट था. फिर कारगिल वॉर आया 1999 का. Even 3 decades after its induction, the MiG 21 was still defending India. The Kargil war में it provided close air support to ground troops in tough mountainous terrain. Okay. Then in 2019, Balakot airstrike. Ab students, Balakot airstrike, this was a historic moment. Many of us remember, है ना? 2019 का Balakot strike. पुलवामा में टेरर अटैक हुआ. उसके बाद Indian Air Force jets struck terrorist camps in Balakot, Pakistan. The very next day, Pakistani jets tried to retaliate. It was during this clash only that Wing Commander Abhinandan Vardhaman uh, famously shot down a Pakistani F-16 fighter jet using his MiG-21 before his own jet was hit, and he was captured. Well, his bravery, students, his bravery made headlines across the world. Okay. Then Operation Sindoor अभी जो हुआ, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर में भी MiG-21 स्टूडेंट्स एक्टिव था. So it showed how reliable, how versatile it was. Okay. So MiG-21 students, it wasn't just about military might. It also helped India's own defense manufacturing grow. Okay. तो इंडिया ने डोमेस्टिकली MiG-21 बहुत सारे प्रोड्यूस किए. इंडियन इंजीनियर्स थे, साइंटिस्ट जो थे, दे लर्नड एडवांस्ड एरोस्पेस टेक्नोलॉजी, and this experience later helped India design its own indigenous aircraft, Tejas light combat aircraft. Okay. So after nearly 6 decades of its service, the Indian Air Force has decided to finally retire MiG-21. Okay. So on September 26th, there will be a special ceremony and ceremonial fly past. Okay. A ceremonial fly past at the Indian Air Force base in Chandigarh. Veteran pilots and senior military leaders, they will gather to honor this legendary jet. Okay. And our Air Chief Marshal AP Singh uh, recently flew a solo sortie in MiG-21 from Null Air Base in Bikaner. Okay. So मतलब एक तरीके से उनका पर्सनल ट्रिब्यूट था. तो इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने वीडियो भी रिलीज किया है MiG-21 का, अ वॉर हॉर्स दैट कैरीड द प्राइड ऑफ अ नेशन इनटू द स्काईज. राइट. तो आप ये वीडियो जरूर देखिएगा. नाउ स्टूडेंट्स, द MiG-21 स्क्वाड्रंस आर रिटायरिंग. तो इंडिया का जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ फाइटर स्क्वाड्रन है, इट विल टेम्परेरीली डिप टू 29. और इसको फिल करने के लिए क्या है, द फ्यूचर, in future this will be filled by India's very own modern fighter jet Tejas Mk-1A. So while we say goodbye to a legend, we also look forward to a new era of homegrown defense technology. So to sum it up, students, MiG-21 wasn't just a machine, it was a hero of the skies. It defended India through wars, conflicts, peacekeeping missions. So retirement, students, is like the end of a long, proud chapter and the start of a new one with modern aircraft like the Tejas. Okay? अब बात करते हैं स्टूडेंट्स दूसरे न्यूज की, H1B visa. Now, students, what is H1B visa? It's a special visa that allows highly skilled workers. Highly skilled workers जैसे software engineer हो गए, data scientist हो गए, to work in the United States. So for Indians, for many Indians, especially those in the IT sector, this visa has been like a golden ticket to career opportunities. Okay. In fact, 71% 71% of H1B visas are issued to Indian nationals only. ठीक है. 71 वीजा जो टोटल 100% वीजास इंट्रोड्यूस किए जाते हैं यूएस में, उसमें से 71% इंडियंस को ही इशू होता है. That means most of the people who benefit from this program are from India. Now, what has changed? Recently, US President Donald Trump announced a dramatic policy change. The fees for applying for a new H1B visa has been increased to $100,000. So that's nearly 6 times higher than the previous fee. 6 times higher. Now this has caused widespread concern. Why? सबसे पहले जो बहुत सारे टेक वर्कर्स हैं, उनका ड्रीम होता है इस वीजा को लेने का, बट अब अगर हायर कॉस्ट है, उसका मतलब क्या होगा? इट विल बी हार्डर फॉर कंपनीज टू स्पॉन्सर फॉरेन एम्प्लॉयज. एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू डेटा, nearly yes nearly 60% of H1B visa holders earn less than 100,000. ठीक है? So this make it difficult for companies to justify paying so much to hire them. And applications for this visa have already, dropped to a 4-year low with only 3.59 lakh applications this year. अब इंडियंस पे क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा? तो देखो, सबसे ज्यादा जो पॉलिसी चेंज हुआ है, ये सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट इंडियन फैमिलीज को ही है और टेक इंडस्ट्री को है, क्योंकि many families, they plan their lives around these visas. So if fewer people get them, dreams of working in the US may be shattered. And Indian government has even warned about the humanitarian consequence of this move. Okay? और जो बहुत सारी टेक कंपनीज है, जैसे यूएस जाइंट हो गई, गूगल, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट, amazon, they rely on Indian talent. So a drop in H1B workers could lead to shortages of skilled engineers. Right? और एक तरफ ये भी है, देखो ना स्टूडेंट्स, for years many of India's brightest minds have left for jobs in the US. So this policy could reduce that migration, brain drain का जो problem है, which might actually be an opportunity for India to build its own tech ecosystem. तो हमें क्या, यहाँ पे क्या राइटर क्या बोल रहे हैं? राइटर ये बोल रहे हैं कि इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट रिलाइंग ऑन द यूएस, इंडिया कैन टेक नाउ स्टेप्स. कौन से स्टेप्स? सबसे पहले तो हमें अपने खुद के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे इन्वेस्ट करने की जरूरत है. वी नीड टू स्ट्रेंथन आवर ओन टेक इंडस्ट्री. वी वांट research labs, innovation hubs right here in India. And secondly, AI is the future. If India becomes a global leader in this space, companies worldwide will come here instead of us going abroad. Okay, so focus on artificial intelligence. Third is countries like China and Russia and parts of Europe haven't adopted such strict visa rules. So Indian companies can expand there instead of depending only on the US. Okay, तो देखो अब आगे क्या होता है. सबसे पहले तो यही कहा जा रहा है, राइटर यही कह रहे हैं कि इंडिया मस्ट डेवलप अ लॉन्ग टर्म plan. Otherwise, Indian tech workers will continue facing uncertainty and our economy will remain tied to what? US policies. All right. So students, that will be all for today. And for young listeners, these news articles carry an important lesson that nations must adapt to change, whether it's upgrading defense technology or preparing their workforce for a rapidly evolving global economy. Okay. So as future citizens and leaders, your curiosity, your understanding, it will shape how India faces such challenges. Thank you for joining me today, students. Until next time, keep learning, keep asking questions, and remember, the world is one big classroom. Bye-bye.